Hello, friends. It's Mrs. Johnson, and since I didn't get a chance to read to you yesterday our new chapter book, or start on it at least, I'm going to read it to you, and you can watch it during your during the spelling test, so that friends can still kind of get into it, and you can watch it afterwards if you'd like. All right. So we are reading How to Be Cool in Third Grade by Betsy Duffy, illustrated by Janet Wilson. It's not a lot of illustrations in there, but like we said earlier on the front, we have Robbie, who has on his green collar shirt, his nice khaki pants, his blue backpack with Robbie on it, and then he's looking into a mirror with a different Robbie. That on his shirt it says Rob, and it's a plain white t-shirt with some jeans on, but still a blue book bag. And he looks a lot happier. So we're going to figure out what is going on. What is the illustrator trying to tell us with this picture? All right. So we're going to start and try to get a few chapters in today. So our first chapter is called Becoming Cool, and the second chapter is called Get Jeans. Chapter 1, Becoming Cool. What is cool in the third grade? Robbie York punched his pillow and turned it over. He leaned back and closed his eyes, but he could not get to sleep. The question floated around in his head. It was a question that he had to answer before morning. He flipped his pillow over and punched it again. Tomorrow was the first day of school. Tomorrow he would start third grade. Something about the first day of a new school year makes everything seem bright and wonderful. New clothes, new shoes, long, sharp pencils with unchewed erasers, sheets of fresh, blank notebook paper. Robbie thought of the new year as a chalkboard wiped clean and black, waiting for him to write on it. This year, anything was possible. Anything was possible, that is, if he knew the answer to the question. What is cool in the third grade? Also, I'd like to take a moment to pause because it says a chalkboard, white, clean, and black. A lot of the references in this book are actually from a time when maybe Miss Johnson was in school, or maybe your parents were in school, where we didn't have whiteboards and dry erase markers. We had chalk and we had chalkboards. Some may have had whiteboards, but Miss Johnson, when I was in third grade, we had chalkboards. So some of the things in here I might have to explain to you a little bit more, just because they're not around anymore or they're not used as much anymore. If only he knew the answer. Then this year, everything would be perfect. He sat up. It was useless even trying to get to sleep. He flipped on the light beside his bed. At the foot of his bed, he could see his things laid out for school. His clothes, his shoes, his new backpack. He frowned. The backpack was dark blue and said Robbie on the back in big white letters. His mother had ordered it from a catalog, things that we don't do anymore. That's like the Amazon of the 90s. It was a big book. Robbie had been afraid that she would get him one with a Smurf or a Muppet Baby on it. It was a nice plain blue one, but he reached down and picked it up. He looked at the letters on it. Robbie. He sighed. That was one thing that he knew was not cool. A third grader should not have a baby name. He did not know a single grown-up named Robbie. Robert Hayes York. His real name was great. Couldn't he have just as easily been called Robert or Rob? He held his fingers over the last three letters. Rob. That looked so much better. He buried his nose into the stiff canvas and smelled the newness of the material. He unzipped it and pulled out a new spiral notebook. He opened it. The pages were clean and white. What is cool in the third grade? He needed a plan. a plan to become cool. Robbie! Robbie! His mother called from downstairs. Robbie! That was it. He knew what the first step to becoming cool would be. Get rid of the name Robbie. Lights out now. School tomorrow. Okay, Mom, he called out. He took out a pencil. He didn't have much time. He didn't know the entire answer to his question, but he knew part of it. He had to have a plan. He would make a list. Quickly he wrote how to be cool in 3rd grade. Then, without stopping, he wrote 1. Get rid of the name Robbie. He smiled. Seeing his first step to becoming cool gave him a feeling of power. He felt that by writing it down, he had accomplished it. Robbie closed his notebook and put it into his backpack. He turned off his lamp and lay back in his bed. He didn't feel so restless now. He was one step closer to becoming cool. It was going to be a great year. Chapter 2, Get Jeans. Robbie! Robbie! Time to get up! Robbie pulled his blanket up around his shoulders and started to turn over. Robbie! School today! School! It has exclamation marks, like she means business. It all came back to him. Today was the first day of 3rd grade. In one motion, Robbie was on his feet. This morning, he was charged with a new energy. This was the year that he would be cool. He looked at the foot of his bed where his things were laid out for him. His backpack was still there. It was full. He and his best friend Doug had spent a long time yesterday carefully making out lists of supplies that they would need for 3rd grade. Robbie's mother had taken the list to Harkins department store and had bought all his supplies for him. She had put the things into the backpack for him. Now Robbie picked up the backpack. He felt like he had better check everything himself. He unzipped the zipper and emptied it out. One by one, he began to check off everything on the list. Pencil box, check. Glue stick, check. Crayons, check. Spiral notebook, check. Number 2 pencils, check. Ruler, oh no! He dropped the ruler as if it had burned him. A pretty pony ruler. His mother had bought him a pretty pony ruler. He definitely could not show up at school with a pretty pony ruler. 3rd graders did not have designs on their rulers, and 3rd grade boys did not have pretty pony on anything. His mother just didn't understand some things. He took the pretty pony ruler and stuck it under his mattress. It would be better to show up without a ruler. He leaned back and took a deep breath. How close he had come to being uncool on the first day. Robbie, are you getting dressed? Beside the backpack were his clothes. Shorts, shirt, socks, and shoes, but different from the shorts, t-shirt, socks, and shoes that he had worn yesterday. These were his school clothes. His parents always said that school clothes should be different from play clothes. Robbie picked up the shorts and frowned. They were tan and stiff and had a red belt. The white socks were really white and did not have colored stripes at the top like his play socks. The shoes were brown leather lace-ups and the t-shirt had a collar. That was another one of his parents' rules. No shirts without collars allowed at school. His parents had a lot of rules. He put the shorts on. They felt scratchy. He would have to do something about his clothes. They were not cool. He wished that someone would tell his mother and father that third grade boys wear t-shirts with no collars to school in jeans. He was the only boy in Danville School who did not own a pair of jeans. He began to load all of the supplies into his backpack, but when he got to the spiral notebook, he stopped. He remembered his list. He had just thought of his second step to becoming cool. He opened the notebook and wrote, 2. Get jeans. Robbie! Robbie! And so before I move forward, I want to show you the picture, and I'm going to describe what we're looking at. We see Robbie, and it's in black and white. We don't have a lot of color here. So we have Robbie looking just so upset at these khaki shorts. It kind of looks like just upset with his baseball pajamas on. Like, I can't believe I have to change my whole outfit into my school clothes. So he's standing in front of his book, in front of his desk with his supplies out, with his books on his desk, with that blue Robbie backpack in the back that he doesn't like. And that's why he writes 1, he has to get rid of that name Robbie. 2, he has to get rid of these, or excuse me, not get rid of them, but he has to get some jeans. He's the only one who doesn't have jeans in his grade level. How crazy is that? Shows you it's a different time, I think. So, back into the story. His mother called from downstairs. Breakfast in 5 minutes. You don't want to miss the bus, do you? No, he didn't want to miss the bus. Doug would be saving him a seat. He began to hurry. He closed his notebook and put it into his backpack. He zipped it shut and swung it onto his shoulder. He smiled as he headed downstairs to breakfast. Yes, it was going to be a great year. So, I read a little bit of this today. I'll have a little bit more tomorrow so we can kind of go along and find out what happens to Robbie in his first day at school. See you later.